Hey guys, welcome back to Hawkeye Skunk Works. It is a balmy, hot Labor Day here in eastern Iowa, which is to be expected, but after a couple days of 70-degree weather, this is it's terrible. It's hot. The Hawks won this week. Go Hawks. Anyway, in the tech tip this week, we are going to talk about Swaybars and Swaybar bushings. So, if you guys have watched some of my other videos, you'll know that I recently put a body lift on my Explorer, and my Explorer also has 2.5-inch suspension lift on it. So, it was time to do something about Swaybar end lengths. I was just running the factory length ones, which wasn't a big deal because it was only 2.5-inch, but I figured I'd be OCD and make some custom extended ones, at least for the front. And if you guys care anything about that, just leave some comments below and I can make a video covering that stuff. But anyway, I ripped off my rear sway bar, got rid of it. There's always a debate on whether or not you need or should run rear sway bar on a SUV or a truck. I've always taken my rear ones off, and with the independent rear suspension on this, I guess time will tell. In town, I don't notice a difference at all. But we're just still kind of taking it easy and testing it and stuff like that. But when I took it off, I noticed something kind of interesting that I thought I would share with you all. When I buy a new vehicle, or at least new to me vehicle, I hate rattles and bangs and stuff like that, so I'm always a big stickler on new bushings and bearings and, you know, shocks or struts and stuff like that. And of course, sway bar bushings are included in that. And usually I just get the direct factory replacement ones from the auto parts store. Try to stick with Moog or Mog, tomato, potato, depending on who you're talking to, I guess. But end lengths seem to work pretty good, but they just, I don't know, it always seemed like they wore out really fast on the frame because you could see the gaps starting to build. Well, I think I figured out what the problem is, and let's take a look at why. Alright, here is my rear sway bar, and hopefully you'll be able to see this on camera. That is where the body mount bushing was, and there's all kinds of pitting and stuff in there, and you can kind of see a pattern. That's actually the inside of the bushing had like a grippy texture mold into it or whatever. It's really pitted, and at there's a shoulder here that's pitted, and of course, living in the Midwest, we get salt on the roads in the wintertime, and apparently that just gets in there and eats away at those. So that brings me back to my point about how the bushings always seem to have a gap or would wear out too fast. They're measured for the true measurement of the bar when it's new, the diameter. Apparently not for when it's corroded. Now, when I did my front ones after I saw this bar, I busted out my micrometer. Boom, micrometer. This is actually an old one that I have. I have a digital one inside, but the battery's dead, so I didn't bother bringing it out. They're not that expensive. I think I saw them at Harbor Freight a couple weeks ago for 20 bucks. All kinds of uses for one of these, especially if they're digital. Gives you exact measurements. You can switch it between metric and standard. I prefer to measure in metric and millimeters on these bars. Anyway, when I pulled my front bushings off, I measured the bar, and it was down 1.5 to 2 mils from the factory diameter, which doesn't seem like a lot, but when this is a bushing that should be, you know, to exact measurements, that's quite a bit. So what I did, hold on. What I did was hopped on Energy Suspension's website and looked at their universal mount sway bar mount bushings, which I've used years ago, and I don't know why I haven't been using them in recent times, but they have all kinds of different sizes and 3 different kinds of styles, I guess. Greasable, non-greasable. Definitely get the greasable to help with that corrosion. And then they have 2 different like heights and widths, outside sizes, and they come with their own brackets, so you can mount them up to the factory holes, and they're oval holes, so it gives you some leeway. Take some measurements on your frame, take some measurements of what is on there, and I ordered a set. I think they were $25. I think that's like about what a set of just bushings from the part store cost. So I ordered them to the exact size. They were snug when I put them on. They fit perfectly. The brackets fit perfectly. Cinched them down. Pumped them full of grease. And I'll tell you what, if I don't notice the difference driving around town so far, just in a day or two, big difference in the feel. Feels more planted. I don't want to say feels like the suspension's stiffer, because that's not really accurate, I guess. But definitely an improvement and a feel of stability, I guess. Would be my best way to describe that. So if you guys need Swaybar bushings, I would strongly recommend you take off your factory ones, take some measurements of the bar, the mounting brackets and stuff. Get on Energy Suspension's website. I'll put a link in the description and check them out. Obviously they're not sponsoring this or anything. It's just, when I'm doing these tech tips, they are real world examples of what I'm working on and something that I find that might be helpful to you guys. I'm not like planning these out and trying to come up with cool ideas. This is literally spur of the moment, basically stuff that I'm working on, passed on to you. Hopefully it'll help. They also make relatively universal end-link kits, which as soon as my Moog bushings on the ends wear out, I'll get a set of the end-link bushings, and I'll just have to take some measurements and find the right ones for what I need, because obviously I'm running longer bolts and spacers and stuff because of the lift. But yeah, that is our tech tip for today. Swaybar bushings, take some measurements, and get a better ride and have better quality suspension. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, check out our other videos. Find us over on Facebook. I'll put a link in the description. Find us on Twitter. I'll also put a link to that. And have a great day.